Forsaken Province. This editorial laments the recurring violence in Balochistan and examines its roots in systemic neglect and political apathy. And the endless cycle of violence continues. Endless cycle is a metaphor suggesting violence keeps recurring without resolution. This opening line sets a somber tone by asserting that the violence is unceasing. The brutal killing on Tuesday night of 7 Punjab-bound passengers in Barkhan district marks yet another tragic episode in Balochistan's troubled history. The sentence reports a specific incident, a brutal killing, and uses tragic episode to emphasize the ongoing misery in Balochistan. Punjab-bound indicates the victims were traveling to Punjab, highlighting regional tensions. That armed men could stop multiple vehicles on a major highway, methodically check identity cards, and kill innocent travelers speaks volumes about the state of security in Pakistan's largest province. The phrase "speaks volumes" is an idiomatic expression, meaning it reveals a great deal. Methodically check identity cards suggests a premeditated operation, and innocent travelers underscores the senseless targeting of civilians. More troubling still is the fact that this has become a disturbing pattern that has claimed dozens of lives in recent months. More troubling still intensifies the concern, while disturbing pattern implies that similar violent incidents have been recurring, causing extensive loss of life. Last August, 23 travelers were pulled from vehicles and shot in Musakal. This sentence provides a historical reference to another violent incident, reinforcing the argument that such events are not isolated but part of a long-term trend. In May, 7 barbers from Punjab were killed near Gwadar. This line introduces another example, this time targeting a specific group, barbers, and emphasizing the randomness and cruelty of the attacks. April saw separate attacks in Noshki and Kech, a brief, factual statement noting that violent incidents occurred in multiple locations, thereby reinforcing the widespread nature of the problem. Each incident follows the same horrifying script: armed men targeting civilians based on their provincial identity. The phrase "follows the same horrifying script" is a metaphor indicating a predictable and recurring pattern. Targeting civilians based on their provincial identity highlights the ethnic or regional bias behind the attacks. While the Prime Minister and Balochistan Chief Minister have issued strong statements after the attack, the fundamental question remains: why does this cycle of violence continue unabated? Although high-level officials respond with condemnatory statements, the rhetorical question challenges them to address the root causes rather than merely offering platitudes. Much of the answer lies in the decades of neglect that has left Balochistan's people disillusioned and marginalized. The sentence attributes the violence to long-term neglect. Disillusioned and marginalized describes the deep-seated social and economic exclusion experienced by the people of Balochistan. Despite being a resource-rich province, it has seen very little of the development that has over the years transformed other parts of the country. This line contrasts Balochistan's natural wealth with its lack of development, emphasizing a stark disparity with more developed regions. Basic infrastructure remains poor, educational opportunities are limited, and economic prospects for young Baloch are dim. A clear listing of deficiencies, poor infrastructure, limited education, and bleak economic prospects, which together paint a picture of systemic deprivation. This deep-seated deprivation has created fertile ground for extremist elements to exploit. The phrase "fertile ground" is a metaphor suggesting that the conditions in Balochistan are ideal for extremist recruitment and influence. And still, the political response to the situation has been tepid at best. Tepid means lukewarm or indifferent, indicating that political leaders have shown little urgency or commitment to resolving the crisis. Political parties are quick to condemn violence in statements, but show little genuine commitment to addressing Balochistan's basic grievances. This sentence criticizes the superficiality of political responses, noting that public condemnations are not matched by concrete actions to resolve long-standing issues. The province appears to matter only during election season, when grand promises are made and promptly forgotten. The phrase "mattered only during election season" implies that Balochistan is used as a political tool rather than a genuine focus of policy. Grand promises are criticized as ephemeral and unfulfilled. What steps has the ruling PPP and PMLN coalition in Balochistan taken for any lasting solution? And what have the Baloch nationalist parties done? The rhetorical questions challenge all political actors, both ruling coalitions and nationalist parties, to justify their actions, implying inaction or ineffective measures. Pakistan's political leadership must demonstrate through actions, not words, that they have not forsaken Balochistan. This is a call to accountability, urging leaders to show tangible commitment rather than mere rhetoric. Forsaken means abandoned or neglected. The province needs not just enhanced security measures, though these are crucial, but a complete rethinking of how the Federation engages with the province. The sentence emphasizes that while improved security is necessary, comprehensive political and economic reforms are also essential for meaningful change. This means genuine political dialogue, substantial investment in human development, and sincere efforts to bring Baloch youth into the national mainstream. Genuine political dialogue suggests honest, inclusive discussions. Substantial investment in human development emphasizes the need for long-term socioeconomic improvement. Bringing Baloch youth into the national mainstream calls for integration of marginalized communities. Without addressing these core issues, we risk watching this tragic cycle repeat itself, with more innocent lives lost to senseless violence. The concluding sentence warns that failure to tackle these fundamental problems will lead to ongoing tragedies. Senseless violence underscores the futility and cruelty of the attacks. Published in Dawn, February 20th, 2025.